As long as you didn't drink any of it.
Okay, Michael, I take it back. If I will see your butt if you're in a Superman costume. Or a superhero costume. Otherwise, never. Never.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Michael.
Then
Wait.
fuck! I don't even know what that was.
Jeez.
Thanks, Michael!
Love you.
Thanks, Michael!
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Are we ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You want to start her off?
I sure will. Alright. Let's get into this.
Get into it.
Indeed. Hello all. Welcome to Anxious Baddies Book Club with your host Amber and Emily. If you're new here, thank you for joining us and we hope you decide to stick around. If you're returning, thank you for your support. It means the world to us, more than you know. And if you are interested in our other bookish content or shenanigans, follow us on our other platforms that we have listed at the end of the episode.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And today we will be reviewing Fahrenheit 451.
Yes. And this is a banned book, y'all.
Yep.
So we're going to jail.
We will. But before we get into this here, just kind of want to do our little introduction. This is your warning. This episode will contain spoilers because this is a book club. We've read the book and we're ready to talk about it. And also cussing because that's just what we do. And anything that sounds sponsored or like paid advertisement is not. We are not paid or given anything for free unless stated otherwise. With that being said, enjoy the chaos.
We've got a table by the window, a stack of books so tall, coffee, spewing pages, turning, we're ready to read them all. From mysteries to magic, history to dreams, every story takes us somewhere, nothing's out of reach. Late night talks about the plot.
Alright, so
Yes.
Fahrenheit 451. I think, did you get yours from Thrift Books?
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Thrift Books. We both got our books from Thrift Books. Mine's, was yours new?
No, mine was used.
Okay. Mine is also used.
Yeah. And mine is this is backwards, so no one's going to be able to really read it, but mine is the 60th anniversary, and I think yours is the 50th.
Probably.
I think
Probably.
judging by the cover art.
Yeah.
And I think there are. I could look this up, but I lost my phone between now and the 5 seconds ago I had it.
Okay. But anyways, we have two different editions.
Yes, and I suppose I could say that now. And that's kind of important, and it's not like it's a whole lot of difference, but when I was reading the book, I noticed that there was a difference between what I was physically reading in the book and what I was hearing when I was also listening to the audiobook. Because I was doing some immersion reading. The reason why I was saying that it was different, I was texting you the other day about it. I sent you a picture of one of the pages, it's a very short read. I think it was like 150 or something pages.
Yeah, well, my format's a little different on this book, but it was 165.
Okay,
So
sounds
that's about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right actually with me too. Yeah, 100, almost 160.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 158. But when I was reading when I was listening to the audiobook, and while I was reading, because it's immersion reading, because it really helps me anyways. There was a part in here that didn't match up with what the audiobook told me. The audiobook that I was listening to was a reading from, I believe, an earlier edition. Here it is. So for me, this is on page 69, and
Sorry.
yeah, I noticed that when I was reading it too. I'm like,
Inappropriate, but that's it is what it is.
right? So it's on 69 here for me on this one, but the sentence is, why doesn't someone want to talk about it? We've started and won 2 atomic wars since 2022. No, 2022. When I was listening to the audiobook, I believe it said 1990. And when I looked online, I think there are a couple of different years depending on what edition that you're reading. And
I wonder. And is that the end of like the first part, or is that the second?
it would be the first part, I believe.
Yeah. Let me look.
I think the first part was the longest.
He's talking to Beatty. Or Buddy? Is it Buddy or Beatty?
When I was listening to the audiobook, he was pronouncing it as B80. B80? Beatty?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it's actually just at the beginning of part
2? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see what mine says.
That's why I was wondering what yours was saying, and you were just telling me what years was yours, what year.
Listen to this. Okay. Because I didn't know what you were looking for, and I probably was just in La La Land, but listen.
Didn't explain it either.
How in the hell did the bombers get up there every single second of our lives? Why doesn't someone want to talk about it? We've started and won 2 atomic wars since 1990.
Yep.
Yep. So this one says 1990.
Okay, that might be the edition that I was listening to.
Yeah.
I was borrowing the audiobook from my dad, and I don't really know who was.
That's really cool though.
Yeah. And when I looked it up, because I'm like, is this a misprint in this book or what? But they, from what I understand, they changed it per edition to put that in the future, so that way it gives more of a,
ties it to modern times, kind of.
a little bit, yeah. Modern times, or kind of give off the warning.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of this book, one of the first things that is highlighted, or someone had underlined, was that this is a book of warning. We're not to the point of burning books yet, but there are banned books, and banned and burning, not exactly the same.
The only thing that is acceptable to burn are bras. Period.
Yep.
Period. We don't need the bras. But everything else.
Need books.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And so that's what I thought was interesting or that part of it. This whole book is very interesting.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I know I sent you questions. Did you have any like questions that you thought of?
No, I think mine is more or less just kind of pointing out things.
Mm-hmm.
In
5 stars.
I gave it I think a 4.5.
Okay.
And I gave it a 4.5. I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy the book because I really did enjoy the book. I gave it a 4.5, subtracted like 0.5 stars because reality.
Yes. And it's one of those books that if you're not paying attention to, you're gonna miss a lot. Because I think there's meaning by the simple things in this book that I think if you don't really connect the dots, you're gonna miss it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is hard for people. I mean, at first when I started this book, I was like, I had to get in the flow of it because my brain didn't want to it had trouble immersing itself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't flow great, but that's what that's kind of how it's meant to be.
Right.
It's choppy, but I think that's how it's meant to be.
Right, yeah, because I mean, one of the things in the book is the lack of
Feeling.
lack of feeling, lack of just everything that we know in real life. When people die, they don't mourn people. They just move on like any other day,
Yeah.
where in real life you would mourn someone.
So one of the questions that I had was, where is it at?
I have I found
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should just go in order.
Okay.
Or I'm trying to think, maybe what the overall theme was or message from the book. Should we do that last? Or what do you think?
I don't know, that's up to you.
I would say, okay, so we'll go with what, in your opinion, is the overall message of the book. The message of the book, really, for me, was that even the point of living is not to is to avoid feelings. It's to you can't avoid sadness. You can't avoid being mad. You can't do any of that. You can't even distract yourself from it. Because when you do that, when you lose that ability and just become desensitized and chasing everything that's supposed to be good, you lose your humanity. You lose your ability to connect with other people. And I think the overall message is that even when even when feeling emotions is hard, there's beauty in that. And that the feeling of emotions keeps you connected to other people. And then yeah. So I think it's just like you have to take the good and with the bad. You can't just ignore it. Yeah.
Right.
That's probably not the overall message because there's multiple messages, but that's kind of the one that I got.
Right.
From the book. Yeah.
I kind of got the and this might be more of a rabbit hole thing from me, but I feel like the message of the story is along the lines of give a group of people, such as a government, too much power, and be prepared to lose individuality.
Yeah.
And be prepared to be a very robotic person and basically
Inhuman.
Inhuman. That and like an assembly line.
Yeah. You're basically just, you take the brain out and you're just functioning off whatever simple things that you know.
Pretty much.
And one of the things that I think really got to me, and it was in the beginning, it was with Millie, when he comes home from burning books and he finds her OD'd.
Yeah, that.
And here's the thing, like, how, and it does, the book doesn't touch on this, but how did Mildred get to the point where she was like, took too many of those pills and killed herself? And I think she just kind of mindlessly did it.
I think so too. I thought maybe she was sad at first, but I feel like he would have picked up on something if she was acting differently.
But yeah, and I think the thing is too, I think the machine or whatever, because there's a machine that they give her to pump her stomach, but does it kind of like reset her brain?
I think so, because she didn't remember anything.
So, you know, and I wonder if like she was sad and she was feeling things but didn't want to talk to him about it because she knew like what he does, and like, so maybe she just took those pills and didn't tell him because like things were like coming up, and then she like gets her stomach pumped and then she's forgets all of what she felt,
right?
You know,
it like just basically resets her into who she was before she felt the sadness or whatever.
Yeah. If she did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, but and the thing about it, I think I probably I got like my little things here, but he talks about the machine that pumps her stomach like very arbitrarily, like there's no like meaning behind the things that he's saying, like, oh, the thing is going down his throat, her throat, and doing this, and it's never like, it lacks emotion.
Yes.
His way of explaining the fact that she OD'd and she's getting her stomach pumped by this machine,
and the workers act like it's a normal thing. They say that they do it several times a night.
Yeah.
So there are people ODing or trying to kill themselves daily.
Yeah. And then that machine will fix them and like wipe them clean again. Cool.
I know. It's just freaking nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the overall like theme, lack of individuality, power, like control, the lack of feeling, like humanity. That's pretty much like where they're at in the novel when it starts out.
Yeah. Yeah. That was well, and then too, when Clarice, is that her name?
Yeah.
The girl. I mean, she's not like the rest of them. She's very colorful. She's very different.
She says things differently. And the way she says things kind of gets to Guy, and it changes his thought process.
It's like she woke something up in him, and that was the change that he needed. And he didn't know, he didn't see her, I think, for like a couple of days, and then he was talking to Mildred about it, and she just like nonchalantly says, yeah, someone hit her and she died. And that was something that got me thinking that the law is different too, because are they going after these people that are killing? Like, running over people, because it's not a once-over occurrence. It happens multiple times, according to what the people at the river. I think it was at the river. Maybe it's somewhere else, but they don't. And that's, a little unnerving. There's law and order as long as it fits the agenda of the people in charge.
Yeah.
And then also, too...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to remember what I was... Oh, at the end, too, that kind of plays into the law and order thing. When Montag is on the loose, and they're trying to find him, and this is all being broadcasted.
Yes.
And, not on TVs and stuff, walls. Walls are like TVs. It's so fucking weird. But they don't want to lose the interest of their audience.
Yeah.
So they stage a capture that wasn't actually Montag, was some random person that was on the street.
Yeah.
And it's just so fucking weird.
And thinking of that, I was like, that fucking sounds like things that could happen today. Because with AI and shit, they can face to face on anyone and make it seem like that's, that person.
Right.
And that's terrifying. Yeah. So the staging of
the capture.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. That is feeding into the people who are under this veil, that if they do what he did, that's the same thing that's going to happen to him. And that's why they carried it out with somebody else. Because it was to control them and control, keep them, from oh, we better not do that,
Right. And it's just so unironically funny, haha, not funny, that after this happened, war is declared. I think war is declared while he's running. Because I think he hears about it as he's leaving. I forgot his name. The guy that gave him the bug to put in his ear.
Faber.
Yeah.
Faber. Yeah.
While he's on the run and with Faber, I think he hears somewhere, I can't remember exactly how he finds out, but war has been declared. But then after they, stage the capturing of him, the city burns down. Just
yeah.
Was it really worth it?
And then he's wrestling with it too. He's the only thing he felt for was Faber. He even was thinking about if he felt anything for his wife.
Nope. For the longest time, he couldn't remember. Well, yeah, and for the longest time, he couldn't remember how they met. He even asked her how they met, and I think as the city's burning, he remembers where they met.
And you know what I was thinking about? And this is just me being a sci-fi geek and thinking wonder why. But what if the reason they can't remember is because what happened with Mildred happened to him as well, but he just doesn't remember. And with every time that they go under that, a little piece of memory kind of just fucking goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just kind of
right. You never.
That's just me doing the theory thing.
Yeah.
But
and I think that if Ray wanted to, he could have expanded a whole lot on the society that he wrote.
Oh yeah, I feel like he was gonna write us another book.
Is he alive?
But no. Okay. I don't think he's alive. But I feel like he was gonna do a second book when I read the afterword.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, he definitely had it set up so that he could.
What was really interesting too, he wrote this book in the library, the University of California library, on a typewriter that he paid like how many cents for an hour. But he wrote 25,000 words. Like how many weeks? Man, I didn't write this shit down. Anyways, he used the university library to type this book up, like, back in the day. And that to me is like so crazy.
Right. Yeah, because that stuff wasn't very accessible back then.
Yeah, I feel like he was gonna write something, but it didn't go. It didn't. Well, it wasn't able to happen. But I think one of the best things about this novel is because there's so much that could be interpreted from it, that I feel like Ray himself was probably like, I could expand, but maybe like that's the beauty of the novel, is to get us thinking.
Yeah. And depending too, because I remember you had said, I hadn't read the afterwards or anything like that, but you had said that they didn't want him to publish the book with certain words and stuff used. So I almost wonder if he knew he wasn't able to expand more on it at the time. Because, they don't want people to get the idea that stuff can happen.
Well, because and that's the thing too. That's why people in power love to hide things, because if we identify something that we see in daily life, that gives us power over them. And that's what's scary. It's like the thought of banned books. Yeah, I get it, maybe like for younger people, but books like this, like reading it, you're like, oh, I see that happening. Oh, I see that could be a possibility. I better not let that happen. A lot of times, like the need for control is huge for a lot of establishments and stuff like that. It's not good, but banning books is a way to do that.
Exactly.
And burning them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet last night, I think it was, someone had made a comment on the TikTok video saying that they had read this in high school. I don't recall reading it in high school. I was in a different class, and we did read a lot of novels, I guess. So I don't know what the other class was reading, but I definitely haven't read this one until now, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that it's still an option for me to read it. Because it's very eye-opening. It definitely gets your brain wandering. Like, thankfully, for the most part, we still do have individuality and everything. We're not, 1950s housewives stuck in a room, listening to other people live their lives and screaming at the walls, because that just sounds miserable. And
and like you said in the beginning of your book, it's a book of warning. So it's not saying that it's happening right now, but it's a possibility if things aren't put in check.
Right.
And that, that is the important thing about that book, or about this book, is because of that.
Right, yeah. They find it as a threat. And yeah, and like I do find it interesting though that in the book, um, Beatty, um, he senses what is going on with Montag, and he says you're free to take a book, keep it for 24 hours to, you know, read it, examine it, or whatever, and then you have to turn it in and burn it. So, I mean, they are, you know, kind of given the option, but also not really at the same time, because what are the chances that you're going to be able to get something done in a day? But,
Yeah.
and another thing that pissed me off, too, was, his wife and her group of friends basically are the reason why that happened.
He got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that he was going to be able to get to her and change her, so that way she can survive too, but...
Yeah, and that's the thing. Maybe that machine, like, took something out of her. Like, maybe she was having those feelings or having feelings of, like, something not right. And then maybe if she hadn't have OD'd and she hadn't have had her stomach pumped and her brain kind of reset, that maybe she would have identified, like, something in what he was saying and was, like, almost like a partner with him, like, and keeping the books and keeping the secret.
Right.
But I think Montag,
yeah.
He was like, with the death of Clarice, he was like, I think he got like woken up so much to the point where he was like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it, I'm gonna read this in front of anyone. I don't care, you know? Like, he was, I think he was scared at some points, but at the same time, he was like, you know, whatever.
Right. And I can't remember if it was before or after that point, because I remember that him and Faber got together before he had to burn his house down. But, I think it was before, because I think it was when, not Montag, but, Beatty was catching on that something was going on with him. But he explicitly says that they took the history books and they altered the history. So what actually happened in the past was completely rewritten to something completely else. Because I remember they had said, what, Thomas Jefferson? No, not Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Edison, I think, was the first firefighter.
Oh.
Yeah, something. One of those guys
Yeah.
was the first firefighter.
Because they completely changed the role of a firefighter to burning books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everything was fireproofed. Like, there was no chance of an actual fire happening, so they didn't have to worry about going and putting out fires. They were warned that when people were hoarding books or something, and they went to go burn their house. Crazy.
Yeah. And then Mildred's just there all day watching TV. You know, watching shows. And, like, what was crazy is that he asked her what the show was about, and she's like, I don't know. She doesn't even know what it's about. Like,
you spend all this time, basically your entire life, in your living room, watching out walls, and I mean, she's talking to them. There's some sort of communication.
Yeah.
And you, like, it just seems so enjoyless. Like, how are you enjoying your life? And I mean, by all means,
it's meaningless.
Some people might enjoy meaningless, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just cannot imagine just sitting there and just not doing anything with your life. Like, and I mean, that kind of broadens that topic. Because as long as it means something to you, that's the important part. I just couldn't imagine being in that situation. I would be so depressed if I was in that situation. But they're happy. They're very content with it from what we know.
Yeah. So they don't know anything else.
Right.
And if they do expand on that, they could get in trouble.
Exactly.
And they know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I think, and in a way too, with that also, I notice that when with anything, certain religion, in any capacity, any, like, it could be Christianity, Islam, anything, there are ways to be so strict that you almost, because it's that strict, you're in this box and you're like, hey, don't do that. If you do that, this will happen. Yep. Hey, don't do that. That's bad. If you put somebody in a box like that and all they know is just what you're telling them, and then what's, they lose some of that humanity, and they lose some of that individuality and their ability to connect with other people.
Right.
And I think that's another thing this book is showing, is that if you put somebody in a box and you tell them you can't do this, you can't do that, that's scary. That's probably going to be bad for you. Then that's the thing. It's a control thing, and it could, like, but it's also kind of it messes with your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It messes with your.
It's not. And in the book, it's not necessarily a religion thing. It is.
No, it's not.
Just an overall government of control.
It's governmental thing. And that's another thing too. Like, government. Like, if you're, put in a box and it's crazy, but, like, conservative, liberal. Like, I don't like to be a part of either one. Mm-hmm. But I know that I have it's a balance. But it's like when you put yourself in a box and you're told to do this, told to do that, you lack, and then you follow it blindly.
Mm-hmm. So basically, government can resemble a toxic religion.
Yeah.
If you give it too much control.
Yeah. It's all about control.
Yep. Exactly. Do with that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where were we at?
I think
Did we go over if this book should be required to read in school?
We have not.
Okay. I think it should be required to read in school.
Yeah.
I think a lot of books that are on the banned list should be required to be read in school.
Now it's tough. Because I don't know how it works with, like, religious schools or Catholic schools or anything like that. I actually don't know. I feel like when I was in Catholic school, we read some books. We read the Diary of Anne Frank, and I think that's a banned book too, right?
Is it?
I think it is, but I do. No matter where you go to school, I think it should be a high school, like some grade in high school, that this book is. English class that this book is required. What are you doing, Yummy?
Yeah, it's not completely banned, but it's banned in certain areas because of, like, the sexual nature or whatever. And it's like, this stuff happened in real life. If you stop teaching history, it's bound to repeat itself. I mean, even though it's kind of repeating itself now, but.
Well, and another thing too, it's hard when you're that. I'm really thankful, and like you said earlier, that you read it later in life, because as a high schooler, I might have been able to connect with it, but I think now that I've lived some years, that I have more patience for it than I would when I would be younger.
And when you're younger too, I mean, obviously your brain isn't as developed, and so you may not be able to comprehend the seriousness or take it seriously, maybe. I mean, granted, I'm not sure at the time that Ray wrote this if it was meant to be a leisure book or if it was meant to be a book of warning at the time, but still. I think,
but and that's the thing too. I wonder if there's like a biography about him or something. Because I wonder where he was in the headspace that made him write this. Why he wrote it.
What made him, like, was this just a imagination for him, or
was he seeing something and then it just kind of took hold? Like, I would love to know.
And I mean, granted, by all means, imagination is a wonderful thing.
Oh, it is. But that's the thing too about imagination. Something would have had to inspire it. So that's another thing about this book. It's like you never know what's going to inspire you or what's going to change your perspective on something. And that can be dangerous.
Correct.
Favorite quote?
I didn't have any favorite quotes, but I mean, there are definitely things that stuck out.
Yeah. I think yours had more than mine, but I had like it took like They took like
everything was important.
Well, there's things that were said, and it's just like I was like, I have to go back to this.
There were so many important things happening.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read this part. What is he talking? I think this is with Hugh. Who's talking to BD. Okay, he's talking about Clarice, and he goes, "Luckily, queer ones like her don't happen often. We know how to nip most of them in the bud. Earlier, you can't build a house without nails and wood. If you don't want a house built, hide the nails and wood. If you don't want a man unhappy politically, don't give him two sides to a question to worry him, and give him one. Better yet, give him none. Let him forget there is such a thing as war. Let him forget there is such a thing as war. If the government is inefficient, top-heavy, and tax-mad, better it be all those than the people worry over it." Peace, Montauk. Give the people contests they win by remembering the words to more popular songs, or the name of state capitals, or how much corn Iowa grew last year.
Yeah.
Cram them full of non-combustible data. Chock them so damn full of facts they feel stuffed, but absolutely brilliant with information.
I think I tabbed that one off too.
Yeah. I was like, and I mean, and that's kind of like, if you don't, in our day and age, if you don't take a hot minute to calm down from all the noise, you are going to go get so caught up in things that you forget where you're at and who you are. You know? So that, oh God, I got chills with that.
And the sad part is that some people are using that as instruction and not a warning. So.
Yeah, I think this is something that I need to, like, I don't know if I want to reread it. I want to, because I think the language that was put into this is really beautiful. And the sequence of it, but also at the same time it freaks me out. And when the more you think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
The more you can relate to it, the scarier it is.
Yep. So, but I think that we pretty much touched on anything. Is there anything else that you think that we need to discuss or talk about?
I don't think so, no. I mean, for a pretty short book, I know we had said that we were going to get this done earlier in April, and I mean, obviously that didn't happen, but even it was an
We do what, yeah.
We do what we do, and I mean, it was a relatively easy and quick book to get through. It's just depending on where you are mentally, it may not be
Well,
what you need.
and luckily, I was in the right headspace for it. But this and like you did the immersion reading, that's incredibly beneficial for something like this, because when I said earlier, like it's hard to get into, it's hard to get your wheels turning, because it doesn't exactly like feed the dopamine in your brain. You have to work at it.
Right, yeah.
You have to work at this novel, but when you do, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's very rewarding and very insightful, and I think fulfilling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that I have read it, and I mean, it was something that even my dad recommended too, so, which is weird because the way I view it is probably the complete opposite that he would view it, but
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And so with that, that is our review of Fahrenheit 451. Up next, we are going to be reading Amber's pick for the month of June.
Blood of Hercules. Ooh, look at that fancy. She's sexy.
I know I got a collector's edition because Barnes & Noble didn't have the regular one. I don't know if I have that or not, though.
But this is all over TikTok.
Yeah.
I actually bought it a few months ago. My friend Katie recommended this for me. But it's gonna, Emily, I think this is gonna be a really good one.
I hope so.
I think it's gonna be.
The hype is very hyped. And
Hype is hyping.
the hype is hyping. And they're already coming out. Well, there's a second one coming out, I think, towards the end of the year. And I already have that ready to pre-order. So.
Yeah. Yay!
Yay!
Very exciting.
Very, very exciting. And just to throw in what I'm reading currently on the side.
Oh, yes. Pause, please.
While you're getting that, it is Finale, the third book in the Caraval series. So that is what I am currently reading.
So these are what I'm reading. I'm reading this still. I'm having a hard time getting through it, and I'm gonna just get through it when I can. My friend Heather really wants me to, you gotta read it, and I'm like, I know. But there's so many books to read, Heather.
At this point, this is all TBR.
Right. But this book my coworker lent me. And it's fairly short, but I'm on chapter 9. But it's good so far. Frida McFadden. This is the first novel from her that I'm reading.
See, I think I have heard of her before, so.
The Housemaid's been really popular.
Okay, I have heard. I haven't read, but I have heard. So.
Neither have I. So, I had my coworker pick her favorite one of Frida McFadden. So, yeah.
Okay, that works.
So, yay, books.
Well, I guess if you have any other suggestions or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment below, or you can email us at anxiousbaddies.bookclub@gmail.com.
Yeah! I can't wait for you to... I can't wait for you to play that back, because I was like...
I know, that's why I stuffed the cookie in my mouth.
times. Good times.
We cannot be controlled.
Whatever the thing that they do. Oh, there's a cookie there. Give it to me. Okay, bye everyone. Love you. Bye. There you go. She's got it.
If you've stayed this far into the episode, we want to thank you for watching and hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Now, before we end the episode, we want to toss out some helpful info in case you are in a book desert, in need of some accessible reading resources, or are looking for different places to buy books. None of this is sponsored. Our first suggestion is thriftbooks.com. Amber and I have been using ThriftBooks for several months at this point. The app is easy to navigate and the customer service is good. You can buy used or new books, sell some books you no longer want. They also sell CDs, vinyl, DVDs, and even some video games. There is a tiered rewards program that has a lot of benefits, which includes a free used book under a specified dollar amount, depending on your tier, after you spend a certain dollar amount on their site. This could be very useful, especially if you are already buying a bunch of books. They have all different genres from kid to adult, so if you want a kiddo in your life to get into reading, definitely check out ThriftBooks. Up next is your public library. I believe most public libraries are free. My local library did charge me $1 per year fee, so I paid for 5 years. I would think that if a public library charges a fee, it would be a small amount. But the best thing that you can do for the most accurate information would be to call, visit, or go to your library's website. But besides books, public libraries usually have other great benefits. Mine has Wi-Fi, a photocopier, computers, scanners, books, book clubs, and story times, and more. An added benefit to owning a library card is being able to use Libby. Libby is an app where you can rent ebooks, audiobooks, and more. I've used Libby to borrow audiobooks to listen while I read the physical book. That helped me stay focused and read the books much faster than I normally would just by reading it. I have also used it to borrow ebooks. This has also helped me for when my carpal tunnel and my arthritis acts up, and it's too difficult for me to hold a book and turn pages. I've also invested in this cheap page turner. This helps when I'm not able to turn the pages. But it connects to my iPad through Bluetooth, and it allows me to, again, turn pages without having to use my hands. It's also perfect for those days I just want to be cozy, lazy, and read. But of course, we want to make sure we're supporting authors, especially indie, new, and upcoming authors. We try to stay away from big stores like Amazon, but sometimes that's only where new and other authors are able to sell their books. So we absolutely encourage Amazon Kindle and Audible for that aspect. Also check out TikTok. I found so many authors advertising and selling their books on Book Talk. I think I've found TikTok more useful than Amazon half the time. Anyways. But last but not least, check out your local independent bookstores if you're able to. Absolutely no shame. If you're unable to support due to financial accessibility or other reasons, but even if you can spread the word, that can be more helpful than anything. If we missed a resource or a helpful suggestion, please let us know and be vocal in our comments. If there is any way to make reading or book buying more accessible, we want to help spread that word. There are definitely no wrong or weird suggestions. What works for you may work for us, or it may work for somebody else. But that is everything that we had today, and it is time for us to go. But take care of yourself, keep reading, and until next time.
inside. Oh, we're book club besties, lost in every tale, living 1,000 lives in a paperback sale. From the first word to the last page, we always want more